Start telling me about this, I'll tell you about that. Start talking shit, you walk into another trap.
And welcome to the Russell Howard Hour. The main story is, of course, the horrific news about Harvey Weinstein.
It is hard to know, really, where to start on the storm surrounding the disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein.
Around 30 women, including some of the world's best-known actresses, have now come forward to say they were abused by him.
Stars like Gwyneth Paltrow,
Angelina Jolie, Kate Beckinsale,
Ashley Judd,
Zoe Brock,
Mira Sorvino,
Cara Delevingne,
Rose McGowan,
Louisette Geiss.
And 3 women, including actress Asia Argento, say they were raped by Weinstein or forced to perform sex acts.
How on earth did he get away with such grotesque behaviour for so long?
What a despicable piece of shit. He's been accused of sexual abuse, of getting women to watch him in the shower. He's so warped, he even forced one woman into watching him ejaculate into a plant pot. And did you see his fucking excuse?
I came of age in the 60s and 70s when all the rules about behavior in workplaces were different. That was the culture then.
That was the culture in the 60s? I don't remember the Beatles singing about that. It's been a hard day's night, 'cause I've been wanking on a plane. What's he talking about? Martin Luther King had a dream. He didn't have a wet one over a cactus. It's such a bullshit excuse to hide behind. Just because you did something when you're younger, that doesn't mean it's acceptable now. Me and my cousin used to play a game called Tickle Piss. You tickled each other until you pissed yourself. We don't do that anymore. He got married last year. I didn't wander up to him like that. Now, not only did Weinstein blame the 60s, he then tried to gain the world's sympathy by saying he was going to deal with guns. He said that he'll fight the NRA to channel his anger at himself for sexually harassing women. You can't do something horrific and then get away with it by being righteous. You can't cheat on your wife and go, "It's OK, I've adopted a panda." Now fetch me and Lang Lang some bamboo. Now, Harvey Weinstein isn't the only one who's behaved appallingly. Did you see what his brother and co-founder of his company said?
The members of the board, including myself, did not know the extent of my brother's actions.
If you didn't know, then why did he have this in his contract?
Weinstein apparently had a clause in his contract that allowed for sexual harassment if he shelled out the money to make it go away.
How was that allowed? The only thing that contract should have said in big fucking letters is, "Don't rape women!" It's insane. It's in the contract. But it gets even worse. Not only did his company know about it, it looks like they profited from it.
Harvey has to pay a fine. And the way the fine is structured, for the first time he has to pay a settlement, the first time the company has to pay, Harvey has to pay a $250,000 fine. For the second judgment or settlement, he has to pay a $500,000 fine. For the third, $750,000. For the fourth, or any number thereafter, he has to pay $1 million each time the company has to pay a settlement.
Every time he sexually abused a woman, the company made money. We knew nothing. Really? Check your fucking bank account. His dick made more money than both the Keith Lemon films. Now, the other thing I couldn't believe, and you may have seen this, some people actually stood up for him. In fact, fashion designer Donna Karan suggested that some of the victims may have been asking for it by the way they dressed. What a load of shit. No woman has ever put on a dress, looked at herself in the mirror and gone, "Please, let me be lucky enough to see a fat man spunk into a pot plant." Makes you angry, doesn't it? Makes you really angry. And the other thing that can piss off is the Daily Mail types going, why didn't the women of Hollywood speak up? Why were they silent for so long? Because they were terrified. Let's be honest. Showbiz doesn't really look after women. Chris Brown beat the shit out of Rihanna. 3 years later, he won a Grammy. My sister's an actor. She once had a director who wanted her to audition in her underwear. So she turned up like this. Exactly. We shouldn't be attacking the women who've come forward. We should be praising them. Because this isn't just a Hollywood problem, is it? Every woman watching this has had to deal with a lech like Weinstein. And by these women standing up to this predator, it sends a message to women all over the world that this kind of shit is not allowed. Not at school, not at work, not online. It's not your fault. It's the man's fault. And if you stand up to him, we will stand with you. It wasn't acceptable in the 60s, and it isn't acceptable now. That's how we feel. Now, from a story that breaks you to a story that really cheers you up. Donald Trump has had his state visit to the UK downgraded and will not be a guest of the Queen. Great, isn't it?
Would I like to meet Trump? Absolutely not. If I want to see someone orange and thick, I'll watch Geordie Shore.
Mind you, I think Liz missed the trick, right? She should have invited Trump to the palace and just not let him in. Wouldn't that have been great? Just Trump on the buzzer. Bzz, Your Majesty. Let me in. The Queen's like that. Who you calling Majesty? My name's Dedrick.
I'm doing it, Phil. I'm doing it.
Nice one, Liz. Get in near the window. Get in near the window. Take that, you Satsuma bastard. His presidency is falling apart. Even his own staff were having a pop. Look what his Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, called him.
The Secretary of State called the president a moron.
And the world went, yeah, you got a point. But it actually turned out that Tillerson didn't call him a moron. He called him a fucking moron. It gets even better. So, what did Trump do? Well, Trump challenged him to an IQ test. And you're like, play to your strengths, Donald. We've all seen you on telly. You're one of the thickest men alive.
If you are saying he can't do his job because of his race, is that not the definition of racism?
No, I don't think so at all.
We see this spirit in the men and women who selflessly enlist. At some point in the future, we're going to look back and say, how did we do it without space? Let's say hacking defense. Like, we had a great hacking defense at the Republican National Committee. That's why we weren't hacked. New words that we haven't heard too much of, human traffickers. This is a term that's been going on from the beginning of time. We'll either be very, very successful quickly, or we're going to be very, very successful in a different way quickly. There's a big thing going on right now, which is spying, and you can call it anything you want. We've been able to start nipping it in the bud. We've nipped it in the bud. Let's call it start nipping it in the bud.
Unbelievable. Now, elsewhere in the news, have you seen the new advert to protect kids from ISIS? Oh, my God. It contains some of the most obvious advice ever.
Police have launched a new campaign to warn young children to run and hide from any terror attack.
I've climbed to the summit of Everest.
I've tackled some big units. I've brought down the All Blacks.
I've started from the bottom and fought my way to the top.
Do you know what I do in a knife or gun terror attack? Run, hide, tell.
What kid isn't going to do that?
Run, hide, tell. I was going to stay, fight, tap, dance. I didn't know.
Shit, Tom, look, there's the terrorist. Really? Do you want to play tickle piss? I just don't understand this advert. Look what they think kids are going to do if they're under threat.
They're worried too many are willing to film what happens on their smartphones rather than protect their own safety.
Film it! Do they honestly believe kids are going to do this? Oh, my God, I think there's a terrorist. I'm so scared. What happened? Wow. It gets weirder. Look at the final bit of advice they're given.
Escape if you can. Can you get away without exposing yourself to greater danger? This is better than surrender or negotiating.
Negotiate. They're telling kids not to negotiate. Are there really children in this country thinking,
I can turn him round?
I want to kill you.
Let's talk this through. Help me. Help you. Help me help you. Would you like a fidget spinner?
Is that some kid? Oi, Beardy.
Pick a number, pick a colour, pick a number, pick a colour.
Red.
R-E-D.
Number! 3.
1, 2, 3. Your interpretation of Islam is naive and simplistic.
Next up. Now, this may be one of the weirdest stories I've ever seen.
Now, a man has survived a brush with death after his heart stopped when a 14-centimetre fish jumped down his throat and stopped him breathing.
I picked it up off the floor, went to give it a kiss before I threw it back, and it literally, imagine you squeeze a bar of soap, it shot out of my hand into my mouth and basically swam straight down my throat.
Feel that? Laughter. He nearly died and we were like, Thank God he didn't die. That funeral would have been brutal. Oh, come on, you know his mates would have taken the piss just there. God rest his soul. He's gone to a better place. I can't believe he's gone. It's so shellfish. It's so shellfish. Apparently, he was in real trouble. He was in... In fact, he was.
Hello, Sky here. We apologise for the interruption, but Russell's fish puns went on for fucking ages.
He was a trout and out legend. I don't mean to carp on.
Seriously, he went on for hours. OK, he's finished now. No, hang on, there's more. And he's done.
Don't worry, he'll be back. Let's get battered! Join me after the break when I'll be talking to one of the most famous newsreaders in the country, Fiona Bruce. Now, this week, I'd like to talk about cosmetic surgery. Did you know we spend $20 billion a year changing the way that we look.
It seems the trend of plastic surgery is not slowing down.
Surgeons performed more than 20 million cosmetic procedures last year.
Liposuction,
tucks, nose jobs.
that graft,
butt implants. We've seen a double-digit rise in all of the 10 cosmetic procedures.
I don't think I could go back down to a D cup.
Shit is the right word, my friends. Plastic surgery's everywhere. Boob jobs, facelifts, tummy tucks. There's women in West London whose faces are so tight, when they wink, their leg goes like that. But we're starting to mess with things that really don't matter. Do you know what the biggest cosmetic surgery trend of 2017 is? Tiny nipples. How are they desirable? Just, whoa, check out the micro nips on that. Oh, it's like a gerbil's nose. What next, micro scrotums? Yeah, got them done last year. They're like Tic Tacs. The world's gone mental. Apparently, the next hot trend is getting Botox in your bumhole. Who has complained about that? I'll tell you what, Sharon, your anus really ages you. Puts years on you, that thing does. It puts years on you. But the thing that broke me the most was this. According to an Australian study, 1 in 5 women want a designer vagina. Women are tampering with their vaginas to make them more aesthetically pleasing. Now, if you're having this done for health reasons, fine. But if you're doing it for cosmetics, that is madness. Vaginas don't need to be changed. They've been perfect for years. It's a fanny. It's not grand designed. Vaginas are amazing. Think about what they do. They give birth, they menstruate, and they deal with dicks. They are solid and they know their own business. You're right, madam. But the thing that really depresses me is that apparently a lot of women are doing this for their boyfriends. They're being pressured by their partner to change their genitals. Now, I don't want to be crude here, ladies, but if your man wants you to change your fanny, you're dealing with the wrong cunt. Don't change your bits for us. I speak as a man and as a huge fan of the vagina. I mean, I used to live in one. I did. I sometimes swing around the old place to see how she's doing. But apparently a lot I don't. That is a joke. It's roomier than I remember. I've never done it. But apparently a lot of men are watching porn and want their women to look like porn stars. If your man wants you to look like a porn star, then hit him back. What's that? Some kind of travel penis? If you want this landscaped, I want an extension. It's so depressing. How about we stop only judging each other on looks? Because it's having a huge effect, particularly on young women. 15% of 7 to 10-year-old girls are ashamed by the way they look. When you're 7, you should know what you look like. You should be riding your bike, jumping in puddles. The only time I looked at my face when I was 7 was when the school photo came out. Just, oh, is that what I look like? My eyes are crazy.
I gotta go, Mum. I'm off to feed my dog glitter so it poos magic.
But the world's different now. We need to break this surface-level culture that only focuses on looks. Towie, Geordie Shore, the Kardashians, Love Island. Instead of Love Island, we should have a show called Brain Island. Wouldn't that be great? Dear 28, and 2 clever people are giggling about the Large Hadron Collider. Wouldn't that be great? Instead of vapid orange people trying to bang each other, we have a TV show full of people who make you glad to be alive. Like Jean Bishop, She's 95. Every Saturday, she dresses up as a bee and raises money for AIDS UK. Like Marley Diaz, she set up a foundation that gave books to 8,000 poor black girls in America, and she's only 12. Like Kenton Lee, he invented shoes that grow 5 sizes and last 5 years to help children in poverty. We need to recalibrate, because a face full of Botox is a face with no story. What's wrong with wrinkles? They're a record of every smile. Who's ever laughed and gone, well, I'm going to regret that? But I get it. Of course I do. I understand why people have plastic surgery. What I'm saying is, if you're doing it for your health, fine. Or to boost your self-esteem, fine. But if you're getting a boob job for your boyfriend, or a nose job for social media, or you're getting your anus bleached because your husband wants you to look like a porn star, that's madness. Don't let anybody bully you into changing your body, because it won't change anything. An arsehole is still an arsehole. No matter what colour you try and turn it. Now it's time for another edition of Playground Politics. This week, me and the kids of the world, we discuss law.
So I was in my house and we accidentally left the door open when we went, and someone went in my house and ate my porridge.
If you were in charge of a country, what would you make illegal?
Illegal for shorts.
Shorts are illegal?
Yeah.
What, you just don't like thighs?
Or illegal to have glasses.
How much do you think a lawyer gets paid?
A lawyer gets... What's a lawyer?
But then, for the people that can't see, what will happen to us?
No, you'll be kicked out.
Just because we're ocular challenged?
Yeah, so then you can just go into another country and then get new eye lenses being sewed to your body, and then you don't need glasses.
What, and can I then come back once I've had my new eyes sewn on? What would you do if you were in charge of the country?
I would pick someone to be like my girlfriend and that, and then someone who's an adult.
Wow, you're going to have an adult girlfriend?
Yeah, that...
Well, I'm not going to go out with him. He needs, you know...
No, that would be rude.
So the first thing you're going to do if you're in charge is pick a woman?
Yeah, I would pick a woman.
And how would you pick it? Would you just randomly pick somebody, or would you have, like, a lottery?
I would... Or when you do a raffle. I would have a debate, so... I would get, like, pieces of paper, rip them up, put them in a box, shake it around. Yeah, like a raffle. And then, go around the city. Would you want to be in my raffle? And...
What would you do if you were in charge of Australia?
I would give money to charity. I would help the poor. I would help other people in my country and all around the world. I would create... I would give people second chances.
And what would you do if you were in charge of Wales?
Make Wales a more happy place.
I like that.
Stop people chopping down trees.
Yes.
Ruining birds' homes.
Yes.
And stop wrecking squirrels' nests.
Stop wrecking
trees.
Yep.
If people were kind enough, they could let them borrow their hats.
That's the problem with politicians. They never deal with the issues that matter. How about you? What would you do if you were in charge of Australia?
I would probably... If nobody had a kitten, they would get a kitten.
That's a very nice idea.
And wombats.
And what are we going to do about crime? How are we going to stop crime?
Crying?
Crime.
People that are doing the wrong thing, to soak them.
Would you soak me?
No.
Thank you. Would you soak me?
Yes.
I thought that might be the case.
My dad's a police. Yeah.
Is he?
Well, not really.
My guest this week is one of the most popular newsreaders in the country. Please welcome Fiona Bruce. How are you? You did two? That was awkward. I never know whether it's two or one. How's your day?
Good, just come off from doing the news.
You've just done the news?
Finished, yeah.
What's happened?
What happened? Inflation is at a 5-time high. Do you want me to do it in my newsreader?
Well, that's the question I was going to... How do you manage to stay like that, so composed? Because I think if that was any of us reading the news, we'd be screaming. Because it always amazes me that you managed to read it a bit like that, where we'd be like, what the fuck? Have you seen it?
Inflation's up!
Yeah.
Well, it helps I've written it, so at least I know what's coming.
Right.
And then, I guess... I mean, before I start presenting, you know, the 6 or the 10 o'clock news, I'm usually writing right to the last minute and changing things, and then I try to give myself at least 2 or 3 seconds to just... and then start.
OK.
So that's quite important.
Yeah, that's fascinating that you write it as well.
Yeah, I mean, getting hours beforehand. I think if you don't write it, it's just reading out loud, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, where's the enjoyment in that? What I find so enjoyable about it is the editorial input, the kind of cut and thrust of what we're doing, how we're doing it, why we're doing it, should we be doing it at all, changing things at last minute. And if you don't know about the stories and you don't have ideas about that, then it's
And with that,
fun.
how do you manage to stay impartial? Because you have to for the BBC. Because surely if someone like Trump's coming up and you're writing it, you must be tempted to just... But how do you not fiddle with it?
Well, the thing is, actually, Trump, I think, is the biggest challenge on impartiality, because some of it seems so comical.
Yes.
And can seem ridiculous. And then, you know, when the word dotard came up in the Trump... I know. Who knew dotard, what that even means? I had to double-check, actually, you know. So he was called, you know, he was...
How did you find out what it meant?
Well, I quickly Googled it, didn't I? But he was called an old dotard by Kim Jong-un. I mean, that was a translation anyway. And so to read that with a straight face is quite hard.
Yeah.
Except you're talking about potentially World War III, so you've got to, you know, take it. Say, I know. You know, clearly you can't be kind of saying, oh, isn't this ridiculous? It's incredibly important.
The other thing, like, how do you manage... Because I write all this as well, and the news breaks me. I write it with 3 of my friends, and we just sort of sit there, just broken. How do you manage, day in, day out, to not be broken by the news?
Well, there was a time, I think it was after the... Do you remember there was a run of attacks in Paris and in Brussels?
Yeah.
And then there was that lorry that ploughed into that audience on Bastille Day, the celebration south of France. And that just came after so many atrocities that actually I went home that night and thought, God, I just don't know if I've got my heart to... You know, I just don't know if I've got it in me, really, to go in tomorrow and kind of start again.
Yes.
But then, you know, there are some obviously very dark things in news, but not every day is like that. Today has not been like that. Many days are not like that. And, you know, I like to go out with the people from work. Sometimes, you know, in between the 6 o'clock news and 10 o'clock news, go and have a little sneaky cocktail over the road.
Do you?
I do. Not every time, but sometimes, you know.
Well, we're now going to play a little game of when's Fiona shit-faced.
Never for the news.
I mean, it's a risky game, though, isn't it?
One drink is not a risky
No.
game.
But what if there was a new up-and-coming female, a bit like an anchorman, and they wanted to get rid of you, and they put in, like, something heavy in your drink, like, let's say, acid or mushrooms.
Well, it'd be pretty...
And you started licking the auto cue. Imagine that. That'd be...
Yeah.
Well,
I would
I'd put that straight on
effectively...
this TV show, I'll be honest with you.
Also, I'd be effectively licking the camera, so that would be quite a look.
Interesting. You would then make the news. Have you ever made the news? Has there ever been a story where you've had to read about yourself and then had to write about it? Go, that didn't happen.
I've not had to read about myself, but I found myself in the papers, you know, reasonably often. I remember once I was coming back, I'd been in Paris for... there was some big conference going on, a political meeting that we covered on the news, and I was coming back on the Eurostar very early the next morning, and I opened up the newspaper, and the headline was, "Is Fiona Bruce the most irritating woman in Britain?"
Really?
And I thought, who are you? And who rattled your cage?
Wow. In what were they saying?
I can't remember, really. It was just some kind of opinion, I don't know, just someone who completely had enough of me or something.
Oh, man.
But I did, you know, you've got to laugh, come on.
Also, the thing that fascinates me is because millions of people watch you every day. And I was reading, you've got, like, news groupies and kind of super fans, haven't you? And some of them are quite strange.
Some are quite strange. I had one chap who wrote to me, and he wrote quite a long letter describing how he'd like to go for solitary walks along this... Well, you see, I didn't see this coming. And solitary walks, and then he said he liked... This is a heartbreaking sentence. He liked to wear the latest in sports jackets and ties. And then when it moved on to type of underpants he wore, I thought, oh, hang on. And then he said, oh, you know, I really like you or something. And then he signed his name, and then he put P.S. I have a medium-sized penis.
Right.
So he clearly didn't want to get my hopes up.
No.
What a boast.
Yeah. But there's something quite sweet about that, isn't it? Like, he's so... Listen, I'm a weirdo. I'm not going to deny I'm not. But I am not a liar. How has the news changed down the years as well?
Well, there's much more involvement by viewers and by the public, so user-generated content, stuff on mobile phones, that kind of thing. Also, when I started my very first news presenting bulletin, I operated the autocue with a foot pedal.
Oh, really?
So it was literally like this old sewing machine, so it was under here, and I just kind of went like that.
Oh, nice. Like a sort of a spinning Jenny.
Well, so the thing is, and it went one way, obviously it went forwards, and then if you wanted to rewind it, you had to press it twice or something, and then it went backwards, and then you couldn't remember if you'd press it twice or not, and was it going to go forwards or backwards, and you still had to read it, and that was a total nightmare.
Yeah.
It's just a bit more sophisticated.
Presumably, under a desk, that looks a bit dodgy, doesn't it?
Yes.
like, if you're a male newsreader and you're like, it's been a particularly harrowing day in the Sudan. Wow. When did that change over?
I mean, I started presenting the news 17 years ago, so it's an eternity.
And have you worked at the BBC all this time?
Yeah, longer than that, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, 27 years.
And obviously, the big news of the week is Harvey Weinstein. Have you...
Yeah.
What's it like being a woman in the media? Have you ever encountered that kind of horror in the BBC?
Got nothing like that. I mean, you know, casual sexism, definitely. But I think what Weinstein has provoked is a lot of conversations among women about what it is like to be a woman, you know, in the workplace, and actually a woman kind of generally. And I was talking to someone the other day and thinking, you know, by the time I got to 15, you know, I'd been groped in the swimming pool, I'd been flashed at twice, I'd been, you know, someone pressed themselves against me on the tube, and that was by the time I was 15 years old.
Yeah.
And I think most women in the audience will have experienced quite a bit of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's nothing light on the Weinstein radar, thank God, which is sort of verging on the sociopathic. But it is
doesn't
so
make it any less
commonplace.
harrowing, does it?
Well, I think it is less harrowing, but it is depressingly commonplace.
Yeah, but it'll get better, won't it? Yeah. It's going to get better.
Slowly.
Yeah. Now, the other thing that I know you for is Antiques Roadshow, which seems like, I mean, you know, you pick your worlds, don't you? So the news and then the antiques, I mean, they're all very odd, aren't they?
What do you mean they're all very odd? What's very odd?
They've all got crazy eyebrows, tweed. I found this, Fiona, and it was passed down from many generations. And you're like, what's it? Is it as much fun as it looks when there's someone that is really smug and they go, there you go, what's it worth? And you get to tell them fuck all. It just looks like the most fun.
OK, well, first of all, there are lots of lovely people on the roadshow.
Yeah, sure.
And... No, I mean, the most extreme example we had of that was this guy who came along with this blue glass bottle, and he thought...
And his medium-sized penis.
And his medium-sized penis, and one inside the other. And all life is there on the road, so I've got to tell you. Anyway, and he...
Avatar, it's Avatar.
And... He showed it to one of our ex-persons, saying that he'd bought it in an antique shop. He bought it for about £1,000, and he knew it was a poison bottle, and poison bottles used to be coloured differently so that people could tell and they wouldn't, you know, drink from them. And the expert looked and thought, God, I am sure that's from Tesco's. But this guy's really proud of it, and I don't want to, you know, I'm just going to double-check. So he went and asked another guy, another expert, and he went, oh, dear boy, that's Tesco's circa 2015 olive oil, I think. And he's had to go and tell the chap, who was utterly downcast.
Well, at least you got good club points for it, though. Really enjoyed that. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful Fiona Bruce. Join me in part 3 for some of your good deeds. welcome back. Now, it's time to have a look at some of your good deeds, all the brilliant things that you've done, seen and wanted to share with me this week. Peter got in touch to say, I honked my horn at a van driver texting on the motorway, scared the shit out of him, and he threw his phone out of the window. 1-0. Lovely. Next, Joe Spall posted, trying to learn sign language for a customer I serve who is deaf. Currently only knows hello, how are you, thank you, and back. Tried conversing with him today and he gave me a hug. That is genuinely amazing. And the amazing for sign language is that. And finally, now, last week, Cheyenne told me that her dad makes free dentures for the homeless and fits them every Friday in Dublin. Now, I was so impressed with this, we went to film him and find out more.
I'm dead proud of him, I have to say. You know, dead proud of my dad. When I saw the RH Good Deeds section, I was like, you know, I'm going to see if I can get the word out of what my dad's doing, what these people are doing, and I want to try and raise a bit of awareness about the issue of homelessness as well.
I've been roaming around, always looking down at all I see.
When you give somebody teeth, you don't just give them a smile, you don't just give them something to chew, you're giving them back their dignity. You're giving them back a part of their confidence that they've lost.
That's grand. Come back to me next week, I'll have them finished for you. All right.
I've always tried to help the homeless. I've always done my best. And I was walking by the GPO about 3.5 months ago, and I saw people there giving out food, and I saw the guys doing haircuts. I basically offered my service, and it's just taken off from there.
Don't go anywhere, because he'll be done now in 2 seconds.
When it comes to homeless people, sometimes people are afraid to look at them, they're afraid to talk to them. But they're just like you and me, they're just normal people who fall on hard times, that's all they are.
He's gonna put a set of the false teeth in for free, like getting them tonight, finished tonight, yeah.
There's a lot of disadvantages to having no teeth. It's not just the look, it's not just the smile. They're not absorbing nutrients, and they end up with inflammatory digestive problems, and it's all because they can't chew their food.
I'm homeless 7 or 8 years, and eating is a big problem for me, you know. Apples I struggle with, so hopefully get that fixed now.
Someone will come into me, I'll take an impression for a denture. It might be a partial denture, that means I'll have it ready for them the next Friday. If it's the likes of a full top and bottom, they'll have to come back to me a few Fridays because there's a certain process you have to go through. In total, there's about 15 to 20 hours work on what I do every week. Sometimes the job can be a bit difficult, you just have to keep them in control.
No argue. You know, hang on, chill. I'm going to get to see everyone, you know what I mean?
You just have to let them know that everyone's going to get seen to, and basically try and stop them fighting among each other at times.
Right, so come down to me next week, we'll do a try-in, and then the following week, then we'll have them finished for you.
Thank you very much.
No bother at all, my pleasure.
Delighted, you know, haircuts and dentists, where would you have it? Like for homeless people, it's an unbelievable service they're providing tonight, you know.
Life-saving is the word, because if it wasn't for these people, we'd all be dead.
People need to stop looking past the homeless. They're part of our society, and if we don't help them, nobody else will. Russell, keep making people smile. You do it your way, and I'll do it mine.
What a wonderful human being. Now, could you do something to put a smile on someone's face? Get in touch with me, use the hashtag RHDeeds, and we'll put you on this show. Now, it's time for this week's performance. Please welcome the wonderful Anna Ma!
Hello, my darlings, hello. Hello, my darlings, look at you all. Look at you all, darlings, what a wonderful bunch. What a wonderful hairy gang, I love that. There's a wonderful stench coming off you, I love that. What's that, my love? Who am I? Well, I'm Anna Mann, of course. Rude. Actress, singer, welder, gotta have a backup. Star of stage and screen. I've appeared in over 500 plays, 300 with an audience. My plays are often controversial, rarely attended. I have become something of an activist recently, like a lot of us. I am fighting the fascists, yes, with my new show. Anna Mann is fighting some fascists. Now, it's a real problem. Russell talks about it a lot, but, I mean, what is going on with the world, my darlings? What is going on? You know, we have Trump, we have the alt-right, war is everywhere, coffee is incredibly pricey. I need 17 just to get up. It's costing me hundreds of pounds. But fear not, little liberals, Mother Man is here. I am going to fight the fascists with a weapon sharper than any cannonball, the theatre. So, before we begin, we all know what a fascist is, right? Yes? I tell you what, we'll play a little game. I'll shout out some names, and I'd like you to shout fascist or not a fascist, right? And you can play at home if you want to. I won't know. I won't be there. All right, so we're going to shout out some names. Here we go. Mussolini. Fascist, yes, don't stick up for him. He was. Pavarotti. Not a fascist, very good, an opera singer. But also an Italian, so I don't know. I don't know. Leslie, my yoga teacher. Fascist, thank you, darling. Have you met her? Have you met her? She's awful, she really is. She barred me for snoring. Massive fascist. OK, so we understand what a fascist is. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do something very controversial here tonight. We're going to use theatre to answer the question, how do you become a fascist? How does a lovely little baby without a moustache turn into a genocidal maniac with a really bad moustache? We're going to need a volunteer. Look at this happy rabbit down here. Look at this happy rabbit down here. Wants to spread his rabbit seed over all and sundry. I love that. Full of spunk. Lovely to meet you. What's your name, Rabbit?
James.
Oh, fuck off. I love it. Rabbit, would you mind joining me? A round of applause for Rabbit. I've become my darling. Okay. You look good. You can stand there if you will. Look at this. Look at this jacket. Very sexy beast. I love him. I love him. Keep back if you can. Now, Rabbit, have you been on stage before? No? OK. Oh, bless him. Oh, no. Well, tonight you're going to act your arse off, all right? We're saving the world here, my darling. Now, let me just warn you, what I'm about to do is really pushing the envelope, OK? It's pushing it right out the boat. The envelope's getting wet. Some of you may be shocked. Some of you may be controversed. Some of you may be offended, OK? But trust me when I say theatre can change the world, OK? I've seen theatre make a blind man get up and walk. That's how powerful it can be, all right? James, ready for that? Now, James, I'm going to channel a fascist into your brain, OK? And you're going to act the fascist. We're going to ask you some questions. We don't have a lot of time. We're going to jump in at the deep end. We're going to summon Hitler. I know, hey, bear with me. I'm changing the world. Right, are you ready for that, James? James? OK, close your eyes, darling. Now, we need a mantra to get Hitler into his body, OK? Becoming Hitler. Come on, everyone. Becoming Hitler. Becoming Hitler. You can do this at home as well. I won't know. I won't know. Becoming Hitler. Louder. Becoming Hitler. Help him out. Hitler. Becoming Hitler. Hitler, right, he's in the room. He's in the room. Back up, back up. He's in the room. All right, you son of a bitch. We've got you now. Don't you dare laugh. Not after what you've done. Done? Is it done? Done or did? Dude. I think it's dude. Not after what you dude. All right, you son of a bitch. God, I can't think of anything to ask him now. It's always the same, isn't it? You channel Hitler and then you can't think of anything to say. Oh, God. All right, easy one. What's your favourite band since you died? Coldplay, yeah, what a surprise. Hey? Unbelievable. Right. I've got a ticket to the Sea Life Centre. It expired last month, but I really want to come in. Please, I long to see a manta ray. You're being Hitler and a receptionist here. Can I come in? No, it expired last month. Listen to the question, you monster! There's no end to your crimes! All right, hang on. Someone's offended back here. All right, stop the show. Stop the show. Sorry about this, Hitler. Someone's offended. Right, it's all right, Hitler. Do you want a drink? All right. Now, I get this everywhere I go, OK? I'm currently doing a world tour of Swansea. And everywhere I go, someone gets offended, and I'm sick of it, right? I'm sick of this. You just can't say anything anymore. I'm sick of this PC nonsense, this loony lefty bullshit. We ought to shove you all on an island and nuke the lot of you. It's that easy. You see what I did? It was actually very clever. I was the fascist all along, not him. You see what I did? It was actually... No. It's actually a play. It all fits. Don't look back. Don't try and work it out. But trust me, it's honestly... A round of applause for Hitler. Thank you, darling. Thank you very... Oh, no, you can keep that. You can keep that. And when I say for Hitler, I mean for James, not for Hitler. Wonderful stuff. Well, I hope that's really made a few of you think. I mean, it's actually very clever. You might not think it now, but when you get home, you'll sit down and you'll go, oh, no, that was actually very clever. Thank you very much, my darlings. You've been lovely. I'm Anna Man. Good night. Mwah. Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, Anna Man. Powerful stuff. That is the end of the show. Thank you very much for watching. Good night, my friends. Good night.